Good morning, everyone. On today's show of Millionaire interviewing millionaires, we have a great honor to be able to talking to a really respected person. His name is Nizan. He's in the real estate industry for many decades, and he has traveled the world. He has traveled the world and go see like in Israel and in Europe and so many different countries for 7 years. And of course, like he's really, really well respected within the real estate industry. And today I want to bring him in to all of you for a treat, and because he's going to share a lot of information on how to invest in multifamily and how do you find deals. How does he, where's the market that he invests, and what is his view in terms of where we're going at this time on the multifamily in the US or maybe some other countries. So I want to let you know you're going to be into this with a lot of values, and stay tuned. First of all, I want to spend this opportunity and say thank you for taking the opportunity to be doing this with me, Nizan. Really appreciate that. I know we have been misconnected a little bit for the last couple of weeks, but I'm really glad that we're able to get in touch and share some of the knowledge and some of the things that on the market. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, I've been following you on Instagram and Facebook, and you're a powerhouse, man. You're a powerhouse. I got to tell you.
Oh, you know what? I learned a lot of things from people like you, who have done it. And, I still remember the day that you may not remember that, but I do remember it was European 8. So that was 2 years ago. And I remember that you were on stage speaking. I cannot write that off my mind. You were, the way that you talk, it's true. The way that you talk, and you sharing with me, you share with us, the integrity that's really required for successful people to doing deals. So that really impact me.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That's great. I'm glad. I'm glad that I was able to do something positive. They say if you can help one life in this planet, you've changed the world. So that's great. That's awesome.
That is a good line. That's
Thank
a
you.
good line. So we're gonna spend next 20 minutes, and we're gonna go over some of your success and what you've been doing for the last little while. But let me kind of introduce you a little bit, and then you can kind of edit on if I miss some things.
Sure.
So the Nizan that I know is, first of all, I met you at UPA 2 years ago at Boston. And,
Right.
suddenly I see this great guy speak on stage and share about your story, and you've been in the real estate industry for quite a while. And so I know you traveled well, and I was
Right.
on multiple a training session that is hosted by you, the UPA that you speak quite a bit, and also on last year, of course, the sponsorship and the business training, and you were in there as well. So I learned a lot from you. I'm really excited to be able to do this face-to-face interview with you. So tell me about where you're from, about a little bit of background, so that people who want to get to know you can understand you more.
Sure. So I'm first generation American. I come from an immigrant family from Israel. They moved to New York. I was born, and my father was an entrepreneur. He always worked for himself. I think he did it by default because when he grew up, he didn't get a higher education. He barely finished elementary school. So to go and to get a job in an office or whatnot, that wasn't in his mindset. That wasn't in his DNA. He was born in a different time, in a different part of the world, where it was more of combat fighting, building and whatnot. So it was all everybody doing their part for the community and doing it, not in a normal sense. So we grew up with that kind of mind frame. I was born in Brooklyn. Raised in New York City, lived there all my life. When I was 27, I decided to move back to Israel. I did a time in the Israeli army when I was 18, and then I came back. I went to college, and I still need a few credits to get my diploma. But I think that's already.
You don't need it now, anyway.
I don't need it now. It may look good on a frame in my wall, but that's about it. And it's funny, I studied business law and speech therapy. So, those two didn't connect at all. So it was funny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I traveled the world. You know, my father passed away when I was 27, 25. And then when I was 27, I left New York. I went back to Israel. I hung out in Israel for about a year. And then I went traveling for about 5, 6 years, all over the world, different countries. And I really found myself. I became a hippie, a big hippie. I had dreadlocks below my ass. And, you know, just
It's
roamed the
really hard to
world for a
imagine
while.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I look back and I'm like, wow, I was you know, physically and spiritually and mentally, I was a completely different person than who I am today, and I can see the journey of from the age of 27 till now, you know, 20 years, right? Um, met a lot of great people while traveling, met myself while traveling, and ended up back in Israel. I met my wife while traveling. We met in Portugal, and then we had 2 kids. And then we moved back to the States 9 years ago. We moved to Florida, and it's, you know, it's been great. You know, we moved back to the States because the economy had crashed. We had kids. I wanted to come back to my close group of friends that were living here that I grew up with, because they all have kids, and I wanted us to be together and whatnot. And our goal was actually to buy a house in Florida for a year, fix it up, live in it, and then flip it within a year, make, you know, maybe $100,000, and continue being hippies and traveling the world and whatnot. But we liked Florida so much, and there was so much opportunity that we just decided to stay.
So Nizan, that was
That's,
only 9 years ago that you started doing
yeah.
this. 9 years ago.
9 years ago, I moved to Florida, and then I started flipping homes here. I was fixing and flipping homes. I bought and sold homes in Israel, had some properties in South America, did some, you know, had some single families around the country, office complexes, office buildings in Manhattan. And I decided to, you know, the lowest hanging fruit in South Florida at that time was single family homes. I was buying homes for $16,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, and I was doing simultaneous closings. I was, you know, the buyer would close over here, and I would close with the seller, and then you know, funds would just transact, and I would take my piece, and it was crazy what was going on.
You were
But I
doing
saw
you were
that,
doing wet closing.
yeah, yeah, but I saw the end. I saw that, you know what, single family homes, it's going to dry out. More people were coming into the market. They were bidding the prices up, and it was just getting way too much. And I knew that by every time I had to sell a house, or every time I closed on a house and I sold it, that was it. I didn't make any more money until I flipped another house. And I always understood, because of my commercial background and what my father taught us, that, you know, there's 2 types of people in this world: those that pay rent and those that collect. And son, you always want to collect. That's what he always told us. So
Wow.
I wanted to find someone who was able to teach me about commercial, not necessarily commercial, but more of apartment complexes, and also about raising capital from other people. Because I'd always done it with my own capital, maybe 1 or 2 other friends that we were doing it, right? So there's only so much you can do, and only so big you can get when you're doing that. And I scoured the internet, and I found David Lindahl, right?
So just
My mentor.
basically Google and then find him, and then
That,
that's it.
that was it. Yeah, and you know, he had his home study course for $15.99, 30-day money back guarantee, blah 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 blah. So I bought it, right, and
Did
I
you?
went through it, right, right. You know, like we all do. I went through it, and of course, I did everything he said not to do. I bought a fourplex in a D neighborhood about 40 minutes away in West Palm Beach, and I had one unit was rented out to a drug dealer, and then and then one unit was rented out to a guy who I never saw. He was always in his apartment, never came out, never did anything. And then the other 2 kept going back and forth. I kept renting it to new people and new people and new people. But every time I would go to collect rent, a cop car would drive by and goes, "Did you hear it? Did you hear the gunshots? Did you see anybody?"
Oh my God.
You know,
Oh my God.
and after, yeah, and then, you know, my other tenants were complaining about the drug dealers, that there's all these guys hanging around outside, and she doesn't feel safe, and she's got a teenage daughter and whatnot. But I'll tell you this: I did one thing that David Lindahl did teach us,
Which
to get
is
that drug dealer out. I sent them a letter saying that, because we have such a big backyard, I'm connecting with the Palm Beach sheriff, the Palm Beach Canine Department. And if you see dogs and police in the backyard, don't get frightened. They're just training their dogs. Dude, within 3 days, man, they were out. They took everything. They took the lights. They took the sinks. They took the toilet. They took the fridge. They took just the walls they left. I was happy. I said, you know what? Take it. Just get out of here. I didn't have to confront them.
You didn't even talk to them. You didn't even have to have the contact with him. You just send them a letter. And there we go. 3 days later, they take the ass out of the house.
They were gone. They didn't want drug sniffing dogs walking around and cops and whatnot. So they were gone. But it was a pain in the ass because I had a property manager, but he was very lenient. People would say, "Oh, come back tomorrow." And 1 month they didn't pay, in 2 months. And then I found out, I'm like, well, this guy hasn't paid rent in 2 months. This guy hasn't paid rent in 3 months. What are you doing? Why aren't you kicking them out? Well, this is the way it is, and this is how it goes. And I said, all right, you're out of here. And it was a pain in the ass because I would have to drive 40 minutes to collect rent, and they would always tell me, "Hey, come back tomorrow." I don't have it. I'm not coming back tomorrow. So it was difficult, but I finally sold it and I made a profit and cash flowed well. But you know what? You got to listen to, what your mentors are telling you, and that's one thing that I learned in the Army as well, right? Your commanders, the people that have done it before you, the people that have gone through the battlefield, that have gone through war and through battle, they know, they're experienced. So follow them. If they hit the dirt, you hit the dirt. If they go right, you go right, and so I learned it really, really quickly with Dave Lindahl when finally I realized, okay, I better pay attention, right? I better learn. I better listen. So I went to all his boot camps many, many times. I, just went and listened and networked and listened and networked. And one day I saw a guy up on his stage. And he said, yeah, we were closing on we were raising $4 million. And at the last minute, some of my investors pulled out. So I just pulled my car over at 10 o'clock at night. And I just went through my Rolodex of people. And I started making phone calls. And we did it. And we closed on it and blah, 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 blah. And I looked at that guy and I said, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. I'm going to be up there within less than 2 years. I'm going to be up on that stage.
Wow.
Wow. That was the goal. And,
wow.
Right?
See that?
Just like you. Just like you.
You see that and then you make a decision. And then within 2 years, you make it happen. And think about all those years before you came to that 2 years. That was really funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's people say, oh, it took me 5 years to quit smoking, or it took me 10 years to do something. I don't believe that. The minute you decide, the minute you go for it, that's when it happens. You can wait 3 years to do something, but the minute you set your mind and you say, today I'm doing it, today's the day, that's when it starts to happen for you, right? It's all up here, right?
Isn't it true that all people who have achieved the things that they want to do is they think it's always in the mind that it takes so long, but really it's the fact is whatever long that you give yourself time to. You can set it 6 months or you can get it realistically. I mean, you can give it 2 years, 10 years, but it usually doesn't take that long.
Right. If you have a mentor, if you follow somebody's steps, if you have somebody that you can talk to, and if you create a great team around you, and that's like you've done, you put some great people around you. You've got you've got your groups. You're an author. You've got all these incredible people around you that you put around you that have helped you go up. And I'm not the smartest, the sharpest knife in the drawer, right? I understand that. What I know though is I have to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, who are better negotiators, better capital raisers, better underwriters, better at everything than me. I just got to bring them together and keep them together and create these opportunities for us to become successful together. Right. So, and that's what we've done. Some people, and it all depends on what you come to the table with. Right. I came to the table when I came to Florida. I knew nobody. I knew 2 people, my friends from New York, that moved down here. I knew nobody. I didn't know what areas to invest in. I didn't know what was going on. I had been out of the country for, I would say, over 15 years. So I was starting from scratch. So I really had to go out, pound the pavement, drive for dollars, go to all the networking events, all the real estate association events, all the apartment events, everything, so that I can go from here, right? Because real estate, there's so many different things you can do in real estate.
That's right.
So I had to go from here, and I had to dial it all the way down to this one thing, which is apartment complexes, right? This is what I want to do. This is where the money is. And then I became the expert in it. I read as much as I can about it. I travel the country. I've seen different markets. I've met with different brokers, talked to many real estate attorneys and SEC attorneys. So now I know what we need, what we're looking for. I've created great strategic relationships. And I'm continuing to build relationships, like you and I, we're constantly, connecting and looking. I'm being a part of your life by my virtual, Facebook and whatnot. And I get to see you and your wife and your child, and how beautiful you are. But that builds a rapport between us, right? At some point, it's like, you know what? I want to do business with that guy. I like him. I like what he's doing. I like what he's about.
That was 2 years ago when I see you speaking on stage, by the way. That wasn't the other way. You have touched on quite a bit on that, Nizan. But two things I was preparing this interview before, an hour ago. I was thinking of what question I should be asking Nizan. That's two things. If you have to summarize and giving as a value for the investor who will be checking out this video, and for the audience that you'll be, because you have a copy of this audio too.
Sure.
So I want you to give it away to your audience. What's the two things that you think is absolutely necessary to achieve the things? We haven't talked about the things you have achieved. We should, but achieve the things that you have achieved today. Two things that you think is absolutely, you have to have it. What are those?
I would say one is the correct mindset. You have to have the right attitude. You've got to have what I call rhino skin. Rhinoceros, a rhinoceros, right? You can take a a spear and jab it into a rhinoceros, and it'll be like a mosquito. They're like, what was that, right? Get away. Yeah. And also a rhino also kind of, just hum, goes about his way, doesn't do any harm to anybody. But if you try to block it, or you try to surround it, or put it in an enclosure, it will break through and it will charge. It will just lead the way and charge. But the mindset is, it doesn't matter what you want to do in life, right? Everybody, Mike Tyson says it best, right? The Reverend Mike Tyson, the boxer. He has a great saying. He goes, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? You got to have a plan, and everybody's going to get punched in the face, especially in real estate, right? You put money down, your money goes non-refundable, then the deal goes sideways. You may lose your money. Your investors may back out at the last minute. You may spend money on an inspection report and find out that the property is 100 times worse than what you expected. And that just happened to us. We paid for an inspection report on a 124 unit in Atlanta. And my partner, we had our call today in the morning. He goes, we're not doing that deal. We're not doing that deal. That deal is a dud. So you have to be ready to get punched in the face, because everybody's going to get punched in the face one way or another, right? So your mindset is, how quickly can I get back up?
So
because I know I'm going to get punched.
How do you train on that? Because many people
go hang out with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because many people will say, "Okay, that's good. I heard that many times. Right mindset, right mindset." The problem is, if I am the person that don't have the right mindset, I don't know what's required. So what will you tell that guy?
Okay, so I would tell. All right, why do you want to do what you're doing? Let's say right now you're a successful person. Let's say you want to start flipping houses. Okay, you want forget the industry. You want to make $25,000 a month, right? That's your goal. That's what you said. This is what I want, right? Imagine yourself now making that $25,000 a month passively. Every month it comes in. Okay, why would you get up in the morning and do what you're doing? Why would you continue to work? Why would you continue to build your empire? What is your why? Okay, so that's your first reason. And if you have a strong enough why, okay, that why will pick you up when you get punched in the face and you get knocked down. That why will give you the passion, the desire, the motivation to move forward when your entire family and friends and network are telling you, dude, real estate, apartment buildings, what are you, crazy? What happens if the market goes down again? What happens? You don't know anything about real estate. What the hell do you know about real estate? You don't know nothing about real estate. You're gonna fail, right? And it happens to all of us. You know, it could be our wife, it could be our husband, it could be our kids, it could be our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our friends, right? Because suddenly everybody that we know sees us shaking the boat. We're starting to do something for ourselves, meaning we're moving ahead in life. We've got a goal, we've got a, you know, we've got a passion now, we've got desire, and we're going to leave everybody behind. So these people are going to want to pull you down. They're going to want to keep you here, because if you succeed, you're making them look bad, right? So that's part of the mindset is, why would you get up when you get punched in the face? What would make you get up? You lost $100,000 in this deal. What's going to make you get up in the morning tomorrow, brush it off, and go, okay, that was an expensive experience. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. And you continue and continue. So that's kind of the mindset. And also when you're trying to figure out, you know, mindset is there's books and books and books and books written about the psychology of the mindset, right? I can say very easily, whatever you think, you're right. Whatever you think, you're right.
Yes.
If you think this is too hard, you're absolutely right. It's too hard. If you think this is easy, I can do this in a year and a half, you're absolutely right. If you think, oh my God, I don't know what to do, but I know I can do it, okay, you're right too.
Yes.
Whatever you think, whatever you put out into the universe, whatever you put back into your universe is what's going to come out. All right. The body, the mind also sometimes doesn't see the difference between negative and positive. It just sees the energy. Okay. So if we're putting out, you know, oh, I don't know, then you're going to keep getting deals put in front of you that you don't know, that you don't know, that you don't know. But if you have a mindset and you have intention, you know, I wake up every morning and I give myself 3 intentions every single day. What are my intentions today? 3, no more than 3.
Every single day.
You know?
You do every
single day. I wake up.
Are they always the same or different?
Sometimes I have a long-term intention. So, you know, okay, today I'm going to work out. Today I'm going to work out. Today I'm going to work out. Why? It's a long-term goal. It's a long-term intention. So today my intention is to work out and give it and lay everything out on the gym floor and not have anything else left. That's my intention today. My other intention today is to make sure that all of my work gets done in a timely basis so that I can spend time with my family. That's an intention. Today, my intention is to raise $300,000. Okay, that's my intention for the day. You know, some people call it goals. Goals are different than intentions. Intention is a declaration of something that you're going to do, that you're going to, you know, create. It's a little different than a goal.
It's a goal with a commitment. Is it true?
Exactly. You have to, it's an intention, meaning I'm saying it out loud. I'm giving it to the universe. I'm connecting the mind to the heart. Okay. And because my goal could be, right? My goal is I want to lose 15 pounds, gain 4 pounds of muscle, and lose 3% body fat in 6 months. So every day my intention is to wake up, be healthy, and work out. But my goal is out there, right? My goal is to raise $1.5 million within 60 days to close. My intention today is to raise 300,000, right? That's my intention for the day. Okay. And another thing with mindset, you know, a lot of people sometimes, where do I start? Right. So they kind of, well, that's not really mindset, but mindset is thinking positively, right? Um, it doesn't matter if you have the seed of doubt or the seed of optimism, right? If you plant both of them in if you plant the seed of doubt in your brain, that's what will grow, doubt. If you plant the seed of optimism and success, that's what will grow. What
Sure.
are you planting in your mind? Okay. And people say, well, how do you go about doing that? Well, you know what? I have, a list of a couple of sayings. My daily mantra is every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. That's my morning mantra. Every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. And then what I say to myself is, okay, yesterday was yesterday. I need to be just a little bit better than I was yesterday today. Just a little bit, right? Because sometimes people put these grandiose goals in front of them, and we all have them, right? We want $100 million. We want $20 million, blah, 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 which is great. But sometimes they're so grandiose. And if we've never achieved one little tiny goal, it's like a baby, right? A baby, first they kind of crawl backwards, right? They slide backwards before they get it. Then they pick up their little booty, right? Then they wiggle it. And then they make 2 steps with their back legs. And then, then they're 2 steps with their hand. And next thing they're crawling. And so if you've never slid backwards, how are you going to walk forward, right? If you've never hit a small goal, how are you going to hit a big goal, right? Because to hit a big goal, you need to hit many, 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 many small goals, right? So I also put little daily, positive things, right? And it may sound stupid, but you know what? I'm awesome. I'm a great father. I am the person that I want to be. I am the father that I want to be. I am the husband that I want to be. I am the man. I am the example for my children, right? And when you read this every day, you're a father, right? When a father reads, I want to be the man that my children need, and I want to be the example for my children, you start that day off with that thought in your head. That's in your head the whole day. Hey, wait a minute. What kind of man do I want to be? What kind of an example? I am the perfect husband for my wife. Well, I know my wife. If I'm the perfect husband, what does that mean? How does that play out? Right?
Those are the things that actually, for many people, like, I don't know about you, for Nizan, is for many people is why we're doing what we're doing anyway. It's not because you want to have that 60-story, yeah, you do want that building, but why do you want what you want? It's because you want to eventually provide, for your family, for your kid, and then to be letting them to see them that you can be achieving those things and let them to follow, right?
Absolutely.
So to be able to do the things, for example, I know you just come back from holiday, really great pictures, by the way. I love your families. And,
Thank you.
To be able to do those things, right? That is the reason why we get up every day, to be a better person, to be able to help other people, to invest, and to basically to provide for your family.
Absolutely.
So
that's right.
So so first thing is the mindset. So what is the second thing that you're going to give to your audience?
So the first one was mindset. And, it's a good question, because there's a lot of things.
It is, because that's why I limited to, right? Because you can tell me so many things.
We can sit now and create a whole list of things. So 2 things.
So for example, like when I look at you, Nizan, you have created, last time I know you over 1,000 units. I don't know. I haven't kept up to date. You probably really close to 2,000 or already at, if I'm not guessing wrong. But in order for someone like you, used to be a hippie, and then, go to army and do different things, travel the world, and then come back 9 years later, starting a single family, just like anyone does, to be able to 9 years, not even a decade now, to be able to achieve this kind of result. Mindset is absolutely important. The experience is important. But what is the second thing to separate you from the rest of people? Because so many people want to do this too. Sure. It's not only you and I, right? So what do you think that you did things that's so special to be able to achieve whatever you have achieved so far?
So, that's a great question. And yeah, so mindset is the first thing that you need to have, right? Because without the right mindset, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter what your industry is, right? You can't be a doctor, you can't be a lawyer, you can't be a journalist, you can't do what we're doing. Um, like I said, so you got to have rhino skin, you got to have that tough skin and that mindset. Uh, the other thing is you have to have, and I talked about it kind of, it goes hand in hand with the mindset. It's the why. It's the passion. It's that desire, right? That why. Okay. And the why changes as we grow older. The why changes. My why when I was younger was to, I don't know if I could say this here, was to shove it up my brother's ass. Okay. Was to take my success and shove it so far up their asses that they couldn't move their heads because it was so in there, because I had to prove something to them, right? I had to prove to them, I had to prove to myself that I was better than them, that I could do it. I had to prove to them that I didn't need them, whatever it was. But then, as I got older, I looked back and I said, yeah, you know what? That was maybe good back then, but I'm older. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I know who I am. Like I said, I met myself while traveling. So I don't need to prove anything to anybody anymore except to myself, right? And so my why then changed, right? My why, it changed when I had children. It's not my children. My why is not my children, because I don't think that's a good reason to do anything, is for somebody else. You should always do things for yourself. My results affect my children, right? But my why is and I said before, what type of man, what type of father do I want to be? What do I want to show my children? My why is I want to be able to show them that whatever you can perceive in your mind, you can achieve. It
You know
doesn't
what?
matter what it
That
is.
is the best line that I heard, because you're absolutely right, Nizan. So many people actually don't have that. They may even
Mm-mm.
achieve a lot of things, but they don't believe that they can achieve things, and they self sabotage themselves after too. It
Absolutely.
becomes so
Absolutely.
successful, and then they don't believe that. They don't believe that. I noticed a lot of successful people. They they have the big why you mentioned, but they also have this almost like a mission that they know that if they put it out there, like you said, they put it on the universe, they can achieve that. That's
Absolutely.
really, really
Absolutely. Yeah, and why do I want to be successful? I want to be successful so I can show my children what it's like, what it is, how to be successful and not be at a desk job, right?
as a role model, as a father.
Uh, as a role model. And also, once you become successful and you become an influencer in your community, like yourself, right? Then you go out and then they give you this title of as philanthropist, right? And what do philanthropists do? These are people with visions, with desires, with passions that they want to go out and they want to leave the world a better place than what we got it, right? So as a philanthropist, as someone who's successful, and you start giving back to groups and organizations and you give back to your community more and more and more, then, your children are looking at this person, and they're going, wow, not only has he created an incredible life for himself, for his family, but now he's able to give back to the community that has given him so much. That's just, incredible. And that was one of the reasons why I joined the Rotary Club, because of the, communal work, the global communal work and the local communal work that we do is amazing. My group, we're working with other countries. We're working with Namibia. We're working with Haiti with global grants. There's where is it I don't get me, I may get the countries wrong. India. We're looking to start working with India, because in India they have a machine that keeps children alive when they're going through lung transplants.
Huh.
So they have one machine. They're looking to raise money for another and do all kinds. So my group is connecting with the Rotary group in India, and we're raising capital on both sides to help that country. We're also helping our own community as well. We raise funds and we give scholarships to university students, to medical students. We help buy their their jackets and their stethoscopes and their books and all these things. So it really does a lot. And what's cool is that when we have these events, beach cleanup during the holidays and Hanukkah and Christmas, we give food to elderly people. They're called shut-ins, right? They don't have any family. They're stuck in their homes. So my daughters, my 10 and 12-year-old daughter, are there giving food to people, cleaning up the beaches. What does that do for them as well? It expands their mind. It's not just about me, me, me. It expands their mind. It teaches them from a young age to start giving. And that is also an incredible example.
That is the perks of being able to be successful and then you can help others.
Sure.
Right? And then by doing that, of course, is a free education at home. Basically, you're doing what you say, and then
right.
Your kids looking back. Because kids learn from us from action. If they don't learn from what you say, they see at you and then see what you do, and they do what you do, right?
Absolutely. It's crazy how they pick things up.
It's funny. Now, I wasn't, to be honest, when I was thinking of what I'm going to talk to Nizan is, I wasn't thinking of like so much that we're going to talk about mindset and the why, but you're absolutely right, because those are the things that's really drive you, whether you're doing real estate or sales or any other business.
Right.
So let's change a little bit on gears on real estate, because of
Sure.
course we're really, really big machines on more powerhouse on the real estate side. Tell us a little bit on what you're doing lately and what market you are investing, and what do you think on apartments buildings for the next couple of years down the road with Trumps and everything? What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. So, we used to be what we call shotgunning the markets in the country, right? Wherever there was a good market in the country, that's where we would go. We would build a team there, and then we would start investing and raising capital. And that's great. If you want to keep, if you're doing that, and that's fantastic, and people have made millions of dollars. But what I found, when I've gone to the bigger family offices to raise capital from, or the bigger funds or the bigger institutions, is that they want to see you being the expert. And it doesn't mean knowing, which property is there, but understanding the market, understanding what's going on, understanding how many units are coming online, understanding, if people are leaving, Atlanta, for example, where are they going? And if they're going to this particular city, well, how many more affordable apartment complexes are left? Because all the other apartment complexes have raised their rents so high. So where are people going to go? Where's the overflow going to happen? Right? Why this street versus that street? So you really have to know that market really, really well. So what we've done in the last I would say year is we've really condensed our search for the markets, and we chose northern Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, and what's above Alabama, Kentucky, I think it is, something like that. And we're focusing in that area. So right now what we're doing is we just closed on a property on Friday. It was a 76-unit apartment complex. Yes, thank you. That went a little sideways. It was a little hairy for a while. We were getting a CMBS loan. The lender, and this is what I talk about, getting punched in the face and how quickly can you get back up, right? So we're 2 weeks from closing. The lender quoted us $3.4 million loan. 2 weeks before closing, they come back and they say, we made a mistake in our underwriting. We can only give you $2.7 million. Now that changes your entire underwriting. That changes everything. Where you're going to now raise $700,000 in 2 weeks, right?
They just change your LTV, basically, like the maximum.
Yeah. They changed the LTV because they messed up in their underwriting. They double tapped the utilities. So for them, the NOI was more than what we had, and they said, well, if the NOI is X amount, then we can give you that much amount. And then when they realized they made the mistake and the NOI went down, their proceeds went down as well. So here I am on my vacation now, spending every single day, instead of hiking and hanging out with my family, on the phone with the lenders, on the phone with investors, on the phone with my partners, on the phone with a hard money lender, so, trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we do it? Right. And this is where if you have a good team surrounding you, then you can make it happen. And you know what? What I did was I reached out to everyone in my network, not everyone, but a handful of strong people. You were one of those people that I reached out to as well, right?
Thank you for
And I said,
confirming.
hey, I said, hey, this is what's going on. Who do you know that can help us? This is what we need, right? I went to my new CPA and I said that to him, and he introduced me to somebody, and they helped us, with getting some short-term financing in place just so that we can close, right? So we got punched in the face big time, but it was how fast we were able to get up, shake it off, and continue running forward, right? Because that's what it's all about, right? How quickly can you get back up and continue running? And you like to run. I see you. You're always running. You're
It's,
always running.
it's funny when you talk about this sidetrack. When I run, and exactly what you say. I have this mindset that it's not about if I fail. Last winter, this winter/summer, I failed 2 times. When I fell, I don't mean to be just normal failing. I fell, and one time I twisted my ankle. The other time I hurt my knee really bad. And those 2 times, I know that I will fail. But it's almost like, how do you build in your ritual and your mindset that, it's if you focus on the failing,
Right.
there will be more to come anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's just like what you said, but what really moved me is when I seen big people like you still see obstacle, like Elon Musk shooting the 3, rockets up in the air and have no rents to pay, and is still shooting the 4th rockets up in the air. So big people like you and Elon, do fail, but what
Sure.
behind them is not about the failing, is how you pick up yourself and do it again.
That's right. That's right. It's funny when Michael Jordan was playing basketball, they put Nike put out a great commercial on him, right? They show, it's like a black and white. They show the limo pulling up to the stadium, and, they see Michael Jordan in his suit coming out, and you hear in the background, and it, his voice. I missed 30,000 free throws. I missed 19,000, 3 attempts. I've gotten fouled out, 2,000 times. I've failed 120,000 times. My coach in high school told me I wasn't good enough, blah, blah, blah. But that's why I'm Michael Jordan, right? Because you have to fail so many times. You have to. Failure is a part of success. What unsuccessful people do is when they fail, they quit. What successful people do is they say, oh, wow, I failed. Okay, well, what did I learn from that, right? What happened that I failed? Well, let me look. Well, you know what? What could I, and not only that, but they say, what can I do better next time? Okay, so you know what? I spoke to this investor and they said no. All right, let me evaluate what I said, how I said it. Let me listen to the questions. Maybe the next investor, I can tweak what I say and whatnot. How many people, get, starting this business, they get excited, they put a property in the contract, and they talk to that one person, which is probably their brother, their uncle, somebody in their family, and they're going, hey, I got this great deal. You want to partner up with me? And that person tells them, what are you doing? You're so stupid. You don't know what you're doing. How do you know real estate? You don't know what you're talking about. Go sell shoes. It's a safer thing. And that failure stops them from being successful. They quit. They say, you know what? I don't like it. Not for me. You know what? Oh my God, maybe I'm really not, capable, right? Whatever you think, you're right. So the road to success is paved with failure, right? You have to fail. You have to fail. You have to fail until you succeed. And then you go, ooh, that worked. Let's try and do that again. Right? Didn't work. Ooh, what happened? All right, we didn't do exactly what we did last time. All right, let's try it again. Hey, that worked. Okay, great. The thing is, you have to be in it long enough until your successes outweigh your failures. And that's all that is.
You have to stay in the game. You have to stay.
You got to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stay in the game. Because if you're not in the game, how can you win? How can you win if you're not in the game? If you're not playing?
So many people, I have to confess, even including me, is the beginning is thinking that underestimating, I should say, how success or mastery is being achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Underestimating the work they have to put it into is almost have to be paying um, until the point that you don't feel the pain, and then
Right.
you go some more, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really really tough. But the most people, if they're not in the long haul, they would not they would not experience that. They would not experience the point that, like as you said, the rhino skin. It's not that you develop the rhino skin for the first day, but you have to develop. You have to take the action long term enough that one day that becomes you. It just
That's
becomes
right.
this is what you do.
This is
Whether you become successful or not, that's just what you do.
that's
Then you
right.
become successful.
Absolutely. Look, my wife is an artist. Okay. Art is a very difficult industry to crack into. Not many people are successful. Art is a very subjective, thing. Somebody paints something, one person likes it, one person hates it. They're looking at the same thing, right? So, one thing I kept, talking to my wife about was, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter if this person likes it, if that person doesn't like it, if they said, oh my God, how horrible, blah, blah, blah. You took the time. You went inside yourself. You created something. The people that are standing in front of that creation, that painting that you've created, are critiquing, but they've never picked up a brush and put a brush or painted a stroke. So all they're doing is, trying to put themselves up by putting, by making comments on your work. Just disregard those people, right? Don't listen to them. You have to maintain 30,000 foot altitude all the time. That's how you bring other people to you as well. Riding this roller coaster of being happy, sad, happy, sad. Oh, they didn't like my work. Oh, that property didn't go well. The inspection didn't go well. Oh, we closed. Oh, we did this. Oh, we did, right? It kills you, right? That's how we get a heart attack and die. You have to maintain that level of confidence of everything. You know what? It's okay.
I figured that's probably why you put it on your headset, because you're so focused at your goal that
Right.
you know that you have to let outside the world, the outside the world that,
That's
just
right.
outside the world.
I want to hear myself. I want to hear myself talk, because when I'm speaking to you and I'm sharing this, I want my ears to pick it up as well. So it goes back into my head. I'm like double dipping here.
You know what? I really want to say thanks for your sharing, Nizan. It has been a really really good interview, because we learn a lot, not only on real estate side, what are the markets that you're looking at, what you're doing. You're sharing about how what is actually the big money guy they're looking at, the expert. That's what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about dipping in different markets, because a lot of investors do that. And but the most two important thing is what's the things that makes you to become today the Nizan that I know from 9 years ago. You were just a hippie. Is the mindset, that's the attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and the other thing is, what's the other thing? Sorry, Nizan.
So mindset and your why.
And your
How,
why. And
how
your why. And
strong?
your
How
why.
strong is your why? Your why will determine, how much passion you have, how much desire you have. It's your motivation. It's what's going to pick you up when life punches you in the face.
That is really good. You know what? Thanks so much, Nizan. I'm so glad to be able to talk to you. I know that we'll meet really soon. I'm really expecting now you're going to be speaking on this year, 2018, UP 2018. You'll be speaking on stage. I'm pretty sure about that.
I hope so. I haven't heard yet, but Dave may call me a day before and say, okay, this is what you're doing. So
I think that's what they did anyway last time for the sponsorship event, and you just show up like we're speaking with Jeannie, and it's like, here you go, this is the book.
right, exactly. That was pretty much it. They said, here you go, you're doing it. What do I do? Whatever you want. Go ahead. So I put something together. So
Give
yeah.
me 5. He's on a really nice boom.
Yeah,
really,
man.
really, really, really good to talk to you.
You too, man.
Well, and I know we'll be speaking. And for the people who want to get in touch with you, I know you have a traveling and investor show, and which is a radio show. And so just give me like a 20 seconds how they can find you, contact information so they can reach out to you if they want to invest with you or even get a mentorship with you.
Sure. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. So I have my radio show, which airs live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's internet radio and it's on W4, the number 4, CY.com. There's an app. You can download the app on your phone, or you can just go online and type in W4CY.com. If you want to ask me questions while on the show, you can go to that website, or you can call in to the show at 561-623-9429. My website for my real estate company is www.investwithcip.com, and that stands for Cornerstone Investment Partners. So that's my website, www.investwithcip.com, and you can click on the contact button over there and shoot me an email. You can go on my Facebook page, The Traveling Investor. I'm on Instagram as the Traveling Investor. So yeah, feel free to hit me up.
What I will do is to make it easier for the audience, I will include that link on underneath the Facebook video, and so that you guys can click on that to make it easy for all of you. But awesome. I want to say thanks again, and thanks Nizan, and looking forward to talk to you again.
Cheers. Absolutely. Thank you, Howard.
Bye.
Bye.